All right, welcome back everyone. In this video, we're going to work with the dynamic routing in Next.js. So we're going to make each one of the posts here, we're going to make clickable. And when the user clicks on one of the posts, it's going to go to navigate to another page where we can see all the details about posts. Later, we're going to have a delete and update functionality. So I deleted some of the posts from my database and I refresh the browser here just so I can have the really nice ones. And now I can hide my terminal, make sure your server is running. So let's work on the feed page where we are rendering all the different posts. Go in here to the feed page. And for now, what we're gonna do is that we're going, instead of rendering a div here, let's change this to a link and make sure it gets imported at the top. And then the link will need href, and the href is going to take us, going to navigate us to /post / and then we're going to use the post ID. So $, curly brackets here to the post.id, whatever ID of the current post we're looking at. Let's format this in here so we can see better. We can close this up now. So now these here, they are, you can see that we can click on these here. Let's just do a little bit of a single little touch here on the link. Let's just put it here, doesn't matter. Let's do a quick last name and let's just do each link should be display block, and we can do hover, we can pg dash array dash maybe 800 will look good. There we go, that's fine. Something that can tell us that we're hovering over this stuff here. Now when we click on one of these, this is going to navigate us to /post and then the ID of post. Right now we don't have this route created, but we will define it now. So let's go back to the feed. Now on the left hand side here, we can go into the app folder, right click and create a new folder called a post, which is going to create the /post. And then inside of post, we're going to create a new file. Let's click new file, page.csx. And in here, what we're going to need is to, let's first create the component. So export default async function post. And in here, we're gonna need to receive the params of the page. So before we can actually access that, we actually need to, let's just finish this up here, because this page needs to be, since we're going to take a parameter, we need to do a right click on this post folder. Let's create a new folder that is going to be dynamic. So it's going to be square brackets post ID, and then this will be in the parameter that we're going to receive. So let's make sure that this page is actually inside of this folder. There we go. So now that this page is in there, in here we could receive the post ID. This is going to be our parameter. So when we click here and it navigates there, So we have the /post, which is this folder, and then we can access this ID with a parameter called post ID, which we're going to receive here. Here we're going to receive params, and we can also take in the search params, which we don't need at the moment, but they're also available here. And then in here we need to, let's return, let's do a quick div. Where's my closing div? And in here let's just say post page, post page. Let's format it. And right now we got the post, but we got an error. Let's try to see if this is not compiling correctly. So in here we need all the structures elements are on use, binding the element param, simplicity of type any. Yeah, so we could create a quick type here for TypeScript. So we can say type props, and so kind of like the prop types in here. And we're going to receive params, and params is nothing more than an object which is going to have the post ID, and it's going to be a type string. And then we're going to have the search params, which is normally a array of strings, so string array. And then we could just pass the type here, so props in here. So go to that, save it. Right, so in here we got the params taken care of here. So let's try to access, let's have a console log of params. Here. Let's go back to feed, click on one, check the effect. So rid of this, feed again. We're getting a 404 now. So now we have our post ID, our dynamic route. This is fine. We have /post. Okay, so my routing doesn't match. I got singular post here, but I said the name will be post. So I have a mistake here. So I'm going to say post in here. Go back to feed again. Click on one of these. And now we can see post page. So my half here was wrong. So post plural. We navigate into this, and then the page be available to receive the parameter here. So in here we should see, in the terminal here we can see that post ID has the value in. We can close this up. Oh, we have access to the post ID from inside of page here. So we could now, let's say, let's just access the post ID. You can say const curly bracket, just the structure post ID equals params in here. And then we are going to, we need to fetch the post, or yeah, we need to fetch the post by the ID. And this is a server component. So we need to create get post action back inside of the actions here. So we can call this as soon as we try to render this page. So in order to do that, let's go back to our actions here. And right now we have the moderation, and then down here we got the fetch post row. And now we need to fetch a singular post from our Supabase database. So here let's say export default is not default, but just export async function. Call it get post singular, and this function is going to receive a post ID, which is going to be a type string. And here we're going to create a client for our Supabase database here. So we can say, before we do that, let's just console log fetching pose, and then we're going to show the pose ID just to verify that this is good. So we could import this new get pose function back inside of the page. Let's close this create post here. At the top, we can import and get post. And then we could go, and then here we could just say const post equals to the call of wait get post, and we're going to pass in the post ID that we need to fetch in the. We can get rid of this console log. We know this is working now. When we visit this page, we're going to receive the post ID, and we're going to pass it to the get post function, which is going to just console log this for now. So let's look at the terminal. It says fetching post and then the post ID. Cool. So now we can go back to server action. And in here, we need to get rid of the console log just for test. It was just for testing here. So let's do const Supabase equals create client, and we need the front end client because we need to receive the we need to receive the params. So let's keep it like, it should be here. That's fine, we can keep it here. Let's have a try catch here. Error. Console log the error for now. And inside of the try, we're going to say const curly brackets. We're going to receive the data and the error. There is one. Going to await space. And then we can do that from. We're going to specify the table name, which is post. Then we can do dot select. And we want to select all the columns, so asterisk in here. And then we can do, let me just put in the next line, that equals or EQ. And then here we need to pass in kind of like a filter. So we're going to try to match the ID to the post ID. Let me format this. Going to look at the post table, like all where the ID is equals to the post ID that we're receiving here. In here, we can check if there's an error. We can pull a new error. We can just pass in error that message. And I think that's fine for now. And if we pass this check, we're just going to return, and then here we get back an array. So we can console log it just so we can see the response. So console log data, console log it before we return it. Let's try to see this work, and then look at the terminal, and you can actually see it in here. So if everything is working, we can see that we receive an array and there's an object in here. So we could just return data square bracket 0, and that should be everything we need. We can keep the console log or we can delete it, up to you. And basically that's everything we need. Let's go back to, wait, let's put some space here for now. So fetch pose by ID. Go back to our page in here, and we should be returning the post. Let's console log the post, and let's just say from page, just to verify that it's from here. And now let's open the terminal. We can see that from the page we're receiving the post that is matching the ID that we look for. One is 81838. If we like to feed and go to another one, we can see the text is the same one. So cool. So now we got the data. We can get rid of this console log here, and all we got left is pretty much to display the data for now. We could, after we get the post, we can destructure what we need. So we can say const curly brackets equals pose, and we can destructure. We need the text, we need the likes, and we need the repose. You can also get the created at and show when it was created at or how long ago it was created at using like a date library for JavaScript, which is nice. But this is all I'm gonna get. Everything I'm gonna display inside of the page. That should be enough. So let's get rid of this div. Let's put a parentheses, have another div. And inside of the div, we're going to have another div and display the text. And when we click on this, playing the text. And then after this one, we could have another div. We're gonna do a whole bunch of divs so we can style it however we want. We can display, like we can say likes, or we can have a icon that shows how many, that shows, I don't know, like a thumbs up or whatever. And then we can have the likes amount here, which is 0. We can copy this down and do the same for repose. Nope. That's fine. Cool. All right, so after this, we're gonna go and work in a bit with two little buttons here, which we're going to have a closing divs. Here, the next thing we're gonna work on in another video would be to have a button here that will say delete, and another one that will say update. And right now they kind of like go together. That's fine. Let's just do a little bit of styling. So after the text here in this div, we can say class name and say flex. Let's do space x of maybe 2 for the 2 or maybe 4. Separate the likes and reposts. And what else? Quick, we can do here. Do a class name. We can do this div. We can also make it a flex container. And we can push this one to the right. So let's just do justify n and a little bit of space x, not reverse, but space x. Play around with the values of 2 or maybe 4. There we go. And I think that's it for now. The buttons right now, they're not going to do anything. We're going to work on those in the video. Just wanted to render this here. We can have a little bit of spacing too if we want. Margin top here, just to move it down a little bit, but we can style this. So right now this is good. We got our dynamic routes. We can go back to feed, click on any of these. We'll get navigated to /post and then the ID. We get the ID and we fetch the data. And this is using server action and get post. So all this is happening in the server. So what you get from the server, let's see if we go back to feed. Let's go to network and let's go and click on one of these. And then we'll get back will be, it's not displaying here. Go to respond to data found. Okay, mine is, but that's okay. We got everything working. Just wanted to show you the preview payload in here. And that's fine. We're good. Okay, doesn't matter. But maybe here will show up. Main preview. And then here we go. This is all the HTML that we got back. So that's everything we're gonna do here. In the next video, we're gonna work on make sure we can delete and update our posts. So I'll see you in the next video.